After 2 days of practice, it's the two JPS Lotuses in the front row of the starting grid, with Ronnie Peterson in the pole position for fastest time, with a lap nearly 3 seconds faster than the record. Alongside Ronnie in the front rank, his teammate Mario Andretti. And it's those two that the other 24 drivers have got to try to beat. All ready then, and there is the pole position man, number 6, Sweden's Ronnie Peterson in the JPS.
Well, Ronnie Peterson, a bridesmaid 3 times this year, a man who can certainly do very well here at Brands Hatch. A remarkable car, his Lotus. Colin Chapman really getting it together this year, but certainly Ronnie still one of the fastest drivers in Grand Prix racing today.
Next to Ronnie Peterson, number 6 is Mario Andretti, number 5. Second fastest in practice, American, also in a JPS.
Well, Mario Andretti, tremendously mature nowadays. He was a driver a few years ago when he came into Grand Prix racing that certainly went where other drivers would fear to tread. Today, a mature man.
In the second rank, third fastest, number 20, Jody Scheckter, the South African in the Wolf. Also in the second rank, alongside Scheckter, the reigning world champion, Austrian Niki Lauda in the Brabham 12-cylinder Alfa Romeo. Next to him, his teammate Mario Andretti, and away they go. And Jody Scheckter sprinting through as they go up to Paddock Bend, this vital first corner. And it is Peterson leading Andretti with Jody Scheckter, and they are all mercifully around that first Paddock Bend. Up Hillwood Hill into Druids Bend. And they accelerate away. It's Mario Andretti in the lead. The American has done what, and it's Peterson second, Scheckter third, Jones fourth, Niki Lauda in fifth position, and Riccardo Patrese is sixth, and off goes, it looks like one of the Elf Tyrrells. No, it's not. It's Handstuck in the Villiger car, and the Villiger Shadow, and up to Hawthorne comes the leader, and it is still Mario Brambilla off.
And yes, in fact, he does. Ronnie Peterson in car number 6. Well, a dreadful blow for Colin Chapman, for Ronnie Peterson particularly. So early in the race, Ronnie's had some sort of mechanical happening, because that car is now out of the race, because in a Formula 1 race the day must be over for Ronnie Peterson as he's been pushed away by the ever-efficient marshals. So Mario Andretti in car number 5 going through there, having to drive as smoothly as possible, knowing now that he has no cushion behind him, and that cushion would normally be Ronnie Peterson, whose ill fortune just a little while ago has taken him out of the British Grand Prix. But right now Andretti is certainly going into the pits. He's down into the pit lane. Mario Andretti, what a turn up for this race. Andretti going in there, not pointing to anything. He's come to a stop, he's pointing back. He switched off the engine, it would look. He's being talked to by, there's changing a rear wheel. He's changing a right rear wheel on his car. That is being changed at the present time. Put back on, he could have a puncture, I'm pretty certain. Of course, you can have a puncture just the same on a racetrack as you can on the racetrack. So Jody Scheckter takes the lead in car number 20. The dark car in your picture takes the lead of the British Grand Prix. Alan Jones in the light car, number 27. He seems to have a white helmet. It's certainly a white car. We're looking, and it is Alan Jones. Alan Jones is out of the race. It seems to Mario Andretti may have a problem, and Mario Andretti has stepped out of his racing car. The great comeback of Andretti cannot be watched today, because Mario and the entrance to Hawthorne's at the bottom of the hill there, not far from where Alan Jones's car has stopped. Mario Andretti, obviously a dejected man now, steps out of his car. Of course, Lauda, one of the great drivers, one of the great technicians, is perhaps looking for an opportunity to get past here, and he tries to get through, and no, Jody Scheckter closes the gate on him, but Lauda is certainly closer now than he has been before. So let's just follow him through Graham Hill corner here, along behind the pits, obviously gauging his opportunity to get past, and this is of course what a good technician and tactician has to do in motor racing. In second place now comes the Ferrari of Carlos Reutemann. Not the orange car, but this car, the red and white car that you're seeing, Carlos Reutemann from Argentina, I'm sure can hardly believe his luck, because he doesn't seem to have passed any cars at all. It just seems that ill fortune of others has allowed Carlos Reutemann to inherit. And there you see the tyre flapping off the car. of Patresi's car. He's almost damaging his wing. He's going too fast. Go a little slower, Riccardo. Don't get too excited. It's Patrese going there towards the pits. The tyre is going to fly off the rim shortly. It's going to damage his wing if he's not careful. It's giving his suspension a tremendous amount of damage there. The drive shafts, can you imagine the torture that chassis is suffering? Patrese should just go a little bit slower, because if the wheel comes off altogether, or the tyre leaves the wheel, the car is touching the ground now, because there's very little ground clearance. Therefore he's doing even more mechanical damage to his car by allowing it to get on the ground. He has, however, got back towards the pits, and he is heading towards the pits now. Riccardo Patrese is on the wrong side of the racetrack. He's crossed the racetrack in front of these other cars, and he's now heading towards the pits. And of course one other car comes in. Didier Pironi comes into the pits as well, as Patrese stops. An urgent tyre change having to be necessary, but look, they're saying no, there's enough damage done to the car, there's too much damage done, and I'm sure Alan Rees and Jackie Oliver, the team managers, have decided that Patrese's car is too badly damaged to continue in this race.
And taking it very wide, and Carlos Reutemann gets through, and another new leader, a quite incredible passing manoeuvre. Carlos Reutemann in the Ferrari ahead of Niki Lauda, and they have both passed Patrick Tambay, and the crowd in the grandstand justifiably goes wild as on lap 61. Carlos Reutemann, number 11 in the Ferrari, inches ahead of Niki Lauda, number 1 in the Brabham Alfa Romeo, to take the lead and go on, he hopes, for his third Grand Prix victory of 1978, having already won in Brazil and at Long Beach in America. And that was a classic passing manoeuvre. 60th lap, Giacomelli in the McLaren on the left, Niki Lauda on the right, number 1, and Reutemann, seeing his opportunity, went through on the inside. Knowing as they go into lap 75, this is the last lap but one, and the gap remains at 1.95 seconds. Reutemann, Lauda, still Watson in third position, still Depailler in fourth position, still Hans Stuck in fifth place. It is still Patrick Tambay in sixth position, and it's still Giacomelli in seventh place. There is the gap between, on the right, Reutemann, on the left, Lauda. Surtees. And it would seem that even as determined, as experienced, as brilliant a driver as Niki Lauda in the remaining stages of this race is going to be able to do it. But Carlos Reutemann then, number 11, coming out into the closing stages, is into the finishing straight now. The stand rises, and Carlos Reutemann wins the British Grand Prix by 1.2 seconds from Niki Lauda. A magnificent finish to an absolutely magnificent race, and a truly jubilant Carlos Reutemann, knowing what he's done, lifted his clenched fist out of the cockpit and gave the victory wave. Niki Lauda on the winding down lap, following Carlos Reutemann in as the Argentinian goes round Surtees Bend for the 77th time, and this time it doesn't matter because Reutemann has won. Lauda second. In third position, John Watson. So the Brabham Alfa Romeos have finished second and third to the Ferrari. In fourth position, Patrick Depailler in the Elf Tyrrell, and then behind them, lapped in fifth and sixth positions, and these are unofficial results, Hans Stuck in the Villiger Shadow, and in sixth place, Patrick Tambay in the McLaren. And there is Reutemann, swilling his mouth again, as well he might do. The winner of the British Grand Prix. There's the Duke of Kent on the left, who arrived here by helicopter just before the race. And from the Duke to Carlos Reutemann, the magnificent Gold Cup for winning the RAC British Grand Prix of 1978. And that makes 3 wins for Carlos Reutemann. It will get both his and Ferrari's tails well up again, because they were truly down in the dumps after a series of, for them, disastrous races. And the World Championship positions don't change very much, and there is Mario Andretti's car That's the car of the championship leader, Mario Andretti from America, from Nazareth in Pennsylvania. And there are the World Drivers' Championship positions.